Let's talk real estate investing in Ontario for 2023. Should we be doing house flipping, BRRRR strategy? Well, I want to tell you how we do both. Let's talk about it right now. What's going on, everybody? My name is Andrew, and I want to share with you a recent project that we did that really illustrates the synergy between house flipping and BRRRR strategy, because a lot of people are wondering, should I do one or the other? Well, really the answer to that is in today's market, you have to use them together. So we recently found a property on the Hamilton Mountain that we wanted to flip because it was an excellent bungalow, great main floor opportunity, great basement opportunity because it was a canvas that we could work with. Now, remember in our previous videos, I talk a lot about how you want to find properties that offer ease of access, ease of maneuverability. That's why we look for corner properties, and we also look for the worst property on the block. We bought this property at $875,000, and if you consider the area, it's actually right by the escarpment. There's a nice walking area. It had double car park, wide driveways. It had 3 bedrooms on the main floor. It has those big corner windows. It's got the old floors, but it has the kitchen more or less where we need it to be. The basement, as we said, has a few things in the wrong areas, but it does generally have the things that are important, like height, because we don't want to have to dig the basement down. The plumbing is already there for the old washroom, and on the basement it had rear side access that you can use as a separate entrance, so everything is more or less in place. So what do we need to do? It's mostly cosmetic renovations, and that makes things easy. We're going to start off with simple things, like we want to make sure to start tackling things like the electrical. We want to tackle the floors, we want to tackle walls, we want to make sure to do new trims and new kitchens, right? And when it comes to the design, as you can see, there has this old kitchen design that wasn't really working out for us, but it has this nice beautiful window in the corner, so it makes sense that the kitchen is actually situated the way that it is. You can see that the sink is in that corner nook facing out the window, and that might look good for that older design, but it's not really good in terms of functionality because you lose cabinet space, and then there's also the depth of the counter that you can't use. So what are you going to do with it? Well, we decided to square it off and basically put the sink a little more centered, and where we were creating a bit of a pinch, if we decided to make a full-size U-kitchen, we decided to just make a pantry on the left, so you get those thin cabinets. Now, similarly to most of the flip projects that you may have seen us do, we like to go for the pot lights, and when it comes to the pot lights, we make sure to install them in every room that we can because it looks aesthetically pleasing, especially for flips. Now, basements are a little bit more challenging. You can technically build a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment in there, but when it comes to offering something that will make somebody feel very comfortable living in a basement, you want to build extra amenities. So this one actually has a 1 big bedroom, and technically there's arguably a 2nd bedroom in there, but we call that an office. So we're really gearing this in-law suite to a single individual. We want to be able to sell this to an up-and-coming working class family that wants to move into an area that is appropriate for them and their families. So we're going to try to keep things simple. We tear down a bunch of the walls that are all just partition walls. We move away the furnace, and we do an ESA upgrade, so we have electrical safety authority for the permits, and we basically make any upgrades that we need to have at this property so that the property is safe. Furthering that, we try to keep most of the aesthetic and even the lining up of all the utility exactly where everything is also on the main floor, meaning that where the kitchen is on the main floor, we also keep the kitchen in the same place in the basement, and where the toilet is upstairs, we keep it the same location underneath. And the reason for that is ease of plumbing renovations, keeps things organized. Now, some of the things that we see in these properties that we have to contend with is certain old features. Like, for example, we have the old ceiling that has this plaster work, and a lot of people try to tear this down. We actually don't do that, generally speaking, unless there's an immediate necessity for it or it's already damaged. If it's damaged, it's extremely hard to repair, so we don't bother with that. We'll just tear it down in that case. But generally, these ceilings are very difficult to tear down and repair because they're built in with cement, they have wire mesh, they have all kinds of things in there, and it's just a whole mess to do it. On top of that, if any of you have ever had to tear down any kind of ceiling, you'll know that you're gonna have insulation that falls down, so you want to basically be careful for that. But why am I mentioning all this? I want to bring this back into context, because when it comes to using the BRRRR strategy and house flip strategy in conjunction and synergizing, is that the BRRRR strategy is really a pivot point for the house flip, because the BRRRR strategy is something we exercise as a plan B to our house flip strategy. If for whatever reason, which happened recently, that the market is not in a favorable place for us to sell the property, who are we going to be renting it to? Well, here's the beauty of it. That same person that we were marketing this out to, that we wanted to flip the house to, is probably going to be the same person who's going to be renting the place, because with everything that happened in the market for 2022 and 2023, it pushed a lot of would-be buyers into now renting. So what's happening? Those same guys are going to now be renting our property, and in fact, the rents have now gone up because buying a property became even harder. So the question then becomes, should I Airbnb it? Should I midterm rent it? Or should I go and just simply rent it normally? And these are all decisions that you're gonna have to think about. We were able to pivot into a rental, a regular rental that is, where we're able to rent the basement for $1,850 and we're able to rent the upstairs for $2,200, which means we're making roughly about $4,000. And now with the property rented, what we do is we pull a little bit of extra money out that we may need to move on to the next project, and then we just wait with this property, holding, renting, paying the bills until the market is favorable to sell. Hope you found this video helpful. If you want to know how this flip project turned out in more detail, make sure to contact us, as we have coaching programs on how you can flip houses successfully in 2023. Until then, see you on the next one.